Comte was one of the first writers to propose a model that's used throughout much of the social sciences. He identified key sources of data for the study of psychology and sociology. Yet, his position is often discounted. In this video, I'm going to look at the specific aspects of his position that later writers are going to reject or move away from.
Comte's project is to present a systematic account connecting all scientific knowledge. There are a lot of potential topics we could discuss when we think about areas future writers will dispute. Comte's work is broad and uneven, with the positivism advocated in his early writings giving way to more fanciful accounts of how society should be organized in some of his later work. Keeping focused on how his positivism relates to claims made within the qualitative research tradition, I'll just focus on three important areas that will be disputed. Positivistic scientific knowledge is based on observable phenomena to the exclusion of directly studying individual conscious experience. Some later writers will try to directly analyze individual consciousness. Some of these writers will not reject a positivistic conception of science, recognizing that it is beneficial for dealing with the world. But they do see a risk of us becoming too reliant on positivistic approaches. They'll propose other modes of inquiry that are not included within the positivistic sciences. For the positivist, the value of knowing what is the case is that it gives us knowledge of how to bring about the outcomes we want. We need then to have two things before we act. One, knowledge of the world, including which actions are likely to bring about which outcomes, and two, our choice of which outcomes we want to bring about. For Comte, while the scientist determines what is the case, the politician determines how to act on that information. In other words, determining what is the case is separated from acting on that knowledge. Some later writers will argue that a social science focused on describing what is the case cannot bring about the radical societal change they see as being needed. Rather than determining how society functions and then waiting for others to act, they will argue for a social theory focused on bringing about change. For Comte, the positivistic approach supersedes the type of metaphysical speculation about the causes or the essence of things characteristic of the medieval period. There is a need for at least some theories to direct observation, but these theories do not need to extend to an account of the nature of reality. Scientists should essentially start by observing the world. Some in the qualitative research tradition will want to reject this move to start with observation. Rather, they seem to propose basing their studies on metaphysical claims. In a future playlist, I'm going to look more closely at each of these three areas. But for now, thanks for watching, and best of luck with your research.